Welcome back. This is a C3 video just on the last little bit of partial fractions. Now, I wasn't going to do another additional video, but there was just one thing I forgot to mention in my other video. So it's sort of a new video, as you can tell by the title. So we're dealing with sort of repeated linear fractions, so squared, so x take 2 squared, whereas we did that in where we had 3 coefficients. We're going to have 3 coefficients again, but it's going to work slightly differently. The method would be the same, but then the last step, when we've got A and C or whatever, the way to find B is a little bit different. So we're going to do one out of the book here that kind of stumped me a little bit. So if you turn to exercise, again, if you've not got this book, it's just ignore me. So Core 4, exercise 1.2, question 2. And for those of you who don't have the book, it says x plus 4 over x plus 1 x take 2 squared. And he said put that in a form where it equals a over x plus 1 plus b over x take 2 and plus c over x take 2 squared. It's quite nice of him to give you that. Okay, so anyway, that's what we've got to put it in this form. And we're obviously going to try and find what a, b and c are. Okay, so what would be, how do we work that out? Right? So we did what we did before. We times this denominator here by both sides. So this becomes x plus 4. Standard as before. So a, and the x plus 1s would cancel. So you just get x take 2 squared. Now b, because there's already an x take 2 on the bottom, their power just, so if you divide 3 squared by 3, you should know from indices, you just get 3. So it's the same sort of thing. So x take 2 squared over x take 2, you're going to get x take 2. Because it reduces the power by 1. So it's b times x take 2. Don't forget we've got to also times this by x plus 1. So b times x plus 2 times x plus 1. C, well obviously, sorry, that should be in addition. Obviously that's, the x take 2 squared is going to cancel because they're the same. So it's just going to be c times x plus 1. Okay, so that's, if you got that far, if you understand it this far, then just going on from what we did in the previous videos. My nose is killing me, sorry. It's a bit hay fever. Okay, so do what we follow the same method. So nothing seems obtuse so far. So make one of these equal to 0. Let's change x take 2 equal to 0. So if x takes 2 is equal to 0, then x must be 2. So we put x as 2 into this equation. So 2 plus 4 is 6. Now a is going to be 0, so we could just write a times 0, just for preference. B is also going to be 0, because we've got b times 2 take 2, which is 0, so it's going to be, so we can get rid of a and b, so there's going to be no a and b. And then c is going to be c times 3, x plus 1 is x being 2. So 6 equals 3c, so 6 over 3 equals c, therefore c equals 2. So what else can we do? Well, we've got x equals, so if we want to find a, then we could find a. So if we want to get rid of the b and c, they've both got x plus 1. A hasn't got that, so x plus 1 equals 0. Therefore, we range at x equals minus 1. So if x equals minus 1, minus 1 plus 4 is 3. A times minus 1 take minus 2. Sorry, take away 2. Obviously that gets us 3 squared, which is 9, so 9a. Obviously that's going to get rid, and that's going to get rid, because the x plus 1s are going to equal 0, as we've said there. So that means it's going to be 3 equals 9a. So 3 over 9 equals a. Therefore, a equals a third, if we simplify that down. So we've got a and c there, but we've already used x equals x take 2, and we've already used x plus 1 as a factor. So obviously that's not going to help us to get 3, because we're not going to create a factor out of nothing. So what do we do? Well, the main thing we do now is put x is equal to 0. And then as we're going through, obviously we're going to have a times 4a plus minus 2b, or take away 2b, plus c. That's not very helpful. So what we're actually going to do is we go through it. I'm going to be just putting so the values of c and a, which there was a reason for doing that, put them into what we've got, and then simplify that down to get b. So x was 4, so it just becomes 4 because x is 0. A times minus 2 squared being 4, so it's 4a, so whatever a is, a third, so it becomes 4 over 3, because 4 times a third is 4 thirds. And we don't know what b is, so it's just b times minus 2 times 1, so we just put minus 2. Or we could put that equal to take 2b, if you want to rewrite it like that. You know what c is? C times 1, that's 2, so that's add 2. Okay, so then we move all the numbers onto the side and leave the b where it is. So that is 4 take 4 thirds, take 2b, sorry, take 2 equals 2b. That's negative 2b, by the way, that equals negative 2b. So what you could either do at this stage is rearrange on both sides, so you could put 2b is equal to, and then move all this onto the other side. So that equals 2 plus 4 thirds, take 4. And then obviously divide both sides by 2 to get b, so b equals 2 plus 4 thirds, that's not very good, take 4 over 2, and that'll get you b. Okay, so we've got our a, c and b values. So if we put that in our calculator, sorry, there we go. So 2 plus 4 over 3, take 4, is that right? So, sorry, one second, let me just clarify this. The working before is right, I'm just making sure my value of b is correct. B should be negative a third. Yeah, so that comes to negative a third, if you put that in your calculator. Okay, so we've got our values of b at the bottom here, so that equals b. We've got values a and c, so what we simply do is we put these values, so b, a and c, into our a, b and c values at the top. So we just rewrite that equation, so I'm just going to scribble them out with my finger. So we said a was a third, b was negative a third, so we change the sign, and c was 2. Okay, so that's your end equation there. And that's how you work it out. So as you can see, it's quite similar to what we did before in C4 about when we did double and triple fractions. But because we've got power in there, you've got to remember when we get to the end, obviously the 2 factors have been exhausted and we've still got another coefficient to find out there. So we just put 2 known coefficients in into what we've simplified, and then leave the other one as just that coefficient. So in this case b, generally the middle one, b, because b the one that's awkward. Simplify that to get b, and then rewrite it in with the corresponding coefficients at the top, as you can see there. So that's the answer to 1.2 exercise 1.2 question 2. But if you means nothing to you, and you're just generally just an Excel student, that is a pretty good example of the kind of tough thing. I reckon that's the toughest thing in partial fractions. It'd probably throw at you. I can't see something being much more difficult than that, because that is fairly tricky. So hopefully you've understood that, and we'll see you in the next video.